This is the High Stakes Lowdown, a RotoViz podcast brought to you by the Fantasy Football Players Championship. I'm Eric Balkman from the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour, the Better Sports Network, and the FFPC. You can connect with me on X at Eric Balkman and the FFPC on X at FFPC. Before we get into the show, I want to remind everyone that you can get a listeners-only 10% discount to RotoViz by using the code RVRadio2025. That's RVRadio 2025. Your subscription gives you unlimited access to all of the RotoViz content and tools, and it supports the podcast channel as well. Now, without further ado, here's the latest episode of the RotoViz High Stakes Lowdown. Back-to-back nights for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back into the High Stakes, the RotoViz High Stakes Lowdown, brought to you by the FFPC. My name is Eric Balkman. You can connect with me on X at Eric Balkman. You know me from the HSFF Hour, the Better Sports Network as well. I want to remind everybody, too, that if you are looking for some FFPC team building fun, check out the FFPC Weekly Challenge, something that's live for week 3. You can join in the Thursday Weekly Challenge. You can join in the Sunday Weekly Challenge. Whatever you'd like is available right now at myffpc.com. You can pick a slim lineup with no kickers and defenses. You can pick a classic lineup with kickers and defenses, so either a 10-player lineup or a 12-player lineup. The slant is you can only pick one player per team. So if you want Sam Darnold, you can't have Jackson Smith and Jigba. If you want Cam Ward, you can't have Alec Iamaner, that kind of thing. So that is live, myffpc.com. You can win up to $2,500. You can play in 10-team, 30-team, or 100-team formats now at myffpc.com. Tonight, we will bring on our guest right now, ladies and gentlemen. He is a longtime player of the FFPC and the KFFSC, quite frankly, has won numerous leagues and is gunning for a $1 million grand prize in both the FFPC Main Event and the FFPC Big Gorilla. Coming into week 2 this past Thursday, he sat in 9th place overall. Please welcome onto the show, Mr. Derek Grier. Derek, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Balky.
How's it going? How was Vegas? It was great seeing you out there.
Oh yeah. We had a lot of fun. It was very enjoyable. Met a lot of people, and of course the drafting was just off the charts. A lot of competition.
What did you end up drafting out there? Did you draft some main event teams, or what? I didn't even ask what leagues you were in.
Yeah. I drafted two main event teams. I had my son with me, Eli. He drafted with me in one draft, and my partner in crime, his name is Mark Chow. He helped me. We drafted another team together.
Yeah, that's awesome, which is cool. And I met Mark. I think I've known about Mark for a while, but I met him at the viewing party. I think that was Friday night, the Friday night watch party. You introduced me to him. So that was cool to meet him in real life, too. Very, very fun, very awesome. It was a great time and can't wait to do it again next year, obviously, as we are counting down the days until we get draft season again and obviously going out to Las Vegas for some FFPC fun. Let's jump off tonight with a player. So I did the RotoViz High Stakes Lowdown last night with Jamie Joseph, and because so much happened in week 2, Derek, I didn't get a chance to talk about everything last night. I did not touch on the Giants running backs at all with Jamie, and this is what I have to bring up with you because you were on Cam Scadaboo, and we saw a clear delineation from what happened in week 2 compared to what happened in week 1. Yep. Scadaboo was the guy that was out there a ton. He was making all the plays. He was getting the high-value touches, obviously. Is he a safe flex play this week against the Chiefs? I know it's not the easiest matchup. And then, obviously, Tyrone Tracy. Do we have to bench him in week 3?
Don't bench neither.
Oh, okay.
That Cam he had a hamstring injury during the training camps during the summer. Mm-hmm. So actually, he's just now ramping up. He's ramping up, and I think that now he's going to play a major role in this offense. Especially in the red zone, goal line touches. He's going to catch the ball in the backfield, and I think Tyrone Tracy, he's going to still be in the mix. So I'm thinking probably a 60-40 type of split. But, it depends on the game script and what the score is and how the game is going. But I believe he's going to be a major role going forward.
So here's the thing in regards to that, and I'm just gonna and I know this is quick and dirty on this, but when we look at that Giants-Chiefs game, which is that's the Sunday night game next week.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So you have Kansas City coming into New York as a 5.5-point favorite. To me, this is a game that would suggest that Scadaboo, who was getting a lot of the pass targets out of the backfield last week, this is going to be a Scadaboo game. But you're still saying, no, you got to still play Tracy. The total is 45.5, so maybe we do see some scoring in this game. But why do you still like Tracy after he took a clear back seat to Scadaboo in week 2?
If the game get out of control, let's say Kansas City get a 10, 15-point lead there, 20-point lead, and it's going to be Russ all over again like it was against the Cowboys. He's going to be throwing the ball probably 40 to 45 times. And when that happens, there's going to be major targets for, of course, Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson and everybody was going to be involved. But that's the kind of game we all hope for, right? It's a high-scoring type of game. That's what we want. But
is the Wan'Dale Robinson thing for real, Derek?
It's yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Wan'Dale is certainly for real. We saw what he did against the Cowboys. And Russ likes him, and he's a main slot guy. He likes to run down the slot, and he runs the deep patterns. So, he's going to be major role still. And I love that. I love the Giants. I love Russ right now, and I think we'll see what happens when waiver wire runs tomorrow night, and who's going to take a chance and draft and pick them up on waiver wires. And I'm not. I'm not at this point. I'm a Russ guy, but on my team, no.
Steve G, our mutual friend Steve G, chiming in. Theo Johnson coming live. He ended up having 4 catches, 34 yards in that game. And he also has given you props for Deebo Samuel this year too, which you were right on.
Yeah, well, Deebo, I've always been a Deebo fan. And he's just a football player. He's a football player. He's a running back, a wide receiver. No matter where you put him, he's going to play football. And he plays rough, and he's an aggressive player. Yeah. I'm a Deebo guy. I always have been ever since he was a rookie. Yep.
14 catches.
Same way about Scadaboo.
Yeah,
he's going to be a roughneck on the football
field. That's what makes him so much. And I know there's no analysis here, but that's what makes Samuel and Scadaboo so much fun to own in fantasy football because we love watching him play. I really didn't know much about Scadaboo till I watched him play in the college football playoff last year. I think it was Texas. He had that coming out game where he was throwing it, he was catching it, he was running and just carrying piles. He just looked like a man amongst boys, and certainly in week 2 already, he looks like he belongs in the NFL for sure. Scott Hoyt, our good buddy Scott Hoyt, who I also saw in Vegas, he is chiming in with Travis Kelce here. He's no longer a top 12 tight end. He looks very average to him. And I will say this about Kelce, Derek. I feel like, and I may have mentioned this already on a previous show, and I apologize if I did, but in a game where you didn't have Rashee Rice, you didn't have Xavier Worthy, this should have been a huge Travis Kelce game against Philadelphia. And what did he come away with? 3 catches, 4 catches? I just feel like Kelce going forward, his upside is so limited that if you hit on, which you look like, some people have hit on Juwan Johnson, you think about Harold Fannin, you're going to have some tough decisions here coming up in the next few weeks. If you can only play Fannin or Kelce, if you can only play Juwan Johnson or Kelce, these are tough decisions now in regards to Kelce.
Very close, very close. I'm going to go between those 3. I think I'm going to go with Juwan Johnson right now. Kelce he's still an old veteran, but again, that word old, he's been playing a long time.
Yeah,
he's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. We all know that. It's just that he's playing. He wants another Super Bowl, another ring, but that's going to be tough to get, especially with the Chargers in this division, along with Denver. It's going to be tough for Kansas City. But in this game against the Giants, I believe that they're going to slow the pace down a little bit. They're going to try to run this football. I believe they're going to try to run it out with the Giants and just keep the Giants on the sidelines, the offense. That's why you wrote in your question here about Isaiah Pacheco. And, Pacheco, I like him in this game. The Giants' defense, the front 4 is very tough up front and stopping the run. But I do like him in this game because they're going to have to run the football. Pat Mahomes cannot run around like he's been doing the last 2 weeks.
No, he can't.
Sacks. He can't do that. You cannot do that in this game. These guys, that defense they hit very hard. If you saw the Dallas game this past week, they were whacking some players out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be tough for the Chiefs to win this game, but I think they should be able to pull it out.
Brashard Smith had 1 carry for 2 yards. He's been sort of a non-factor. Kareem Hunt and Pacheco kind of split the carries evenly. Hunt had 8 for 31. Pacheco had 10 for 22. Mm-hmm. And I'll bring this up too. If I can bring this up, can I go up this side? No, I got to scroll up a little bit further, but it's worth it because this is a good comment from Brooklyn all day, Brooklyn all night. Kelsey, I believe, is not old. He is not washed. He played 2 really tough defenses. And there is something to be said for that because the Chargers looked very, very good last night against the Raiders. And we all know how tough the Eagles defense is too. Now we're really going to see what happens with Kelsey against a somewhat soft Giants defense that allowed a boatload of yardage this past week to Dallas. So maybe things soften up with Kelsey here this week. And obviously if Kelsey ends up having like a vintage, like 8 for 75 and a touchdown performance, we're going to feel a lot better about Kelsey this week. But we also have to understand that if he doesn't have that against the Giants, I'm not saying it's panic time, but it's tough decision time as we just went over for sure. But Pacheco, you like this week, Derek, because they're going to run the ball.
They're going to run it. I believe they're going to throw the ball to him as well. He did a lot of in training camp this in the offseason. He did a lot of practicing on catching the ball in the backfield. I think a lot of swing patterns, a lot of screens, and I see that happening.
What about this?
Hopefully it happens.
Hopefully it happens. Yeah, we're going to wish cast here. We're going to wish cast. What about, and I'll bring this up tonight because we have Steve G chiming in on YouTube right now about Amari and Hampton. And Hampton last night, and this is a guy that we saw go in the second round. We saw this guy go in the third round of a lot of FFPC drafts. Had the key fumble, or not the key fumble, but he had a fumble late in the game last night. And obviously Najee Harris took over the backfield for the remainder of the game. But for a guy who was drafted that high, who is kind of underwhelmed so far, and obviously Najee Harris is playing, Steve thinks he might be the bust of the year. I think there's a non-zero chance of that. I'm still not ready to bury him yet, but there is a decent chance that anybody who drafted Hampton might be regretting it by the end of the year. What do you think about Hampton? What you've seen so far from him, Derek?
He's a really good running back, but when the Chargers went out and they signed Najee Harris to that contract, and then they turn around and they drafted this kid Hampton. Hampton's their future. We know that he's their future. Najee is on a 1-year deal, right? He's on a 1-year deal, and he's a 1-year prove-it deal, okay? And sometimes guys in a 1-year prove-it deal, they actually just explode.
Yeah.
And so, we know Najee's been off the entire summer, because of the eye injury he had. And now they're beginning to bring him up to speed in the offense. So that's what we saw last night. They had a 50-50 split, basically, right? They had a 50-50 split. But as I see going forward, Hampton's still going to be part of this offense. He's going to be a major role in this offense. And I think that I don't see him being a bust at all. I think you're going to see some touchdowns, maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns by the end of the year. That's my prediction. And I see Najee, he'll be the one to probably get you 10 touchdowns.
Interesting.
I believe they have with Najee because the Chargers, they move the ball really good in between the 20s. But once they get inside that 5-yard line, goal line, touches start to happen, it's going to be Najee out there running those touchdowns. That's my prediction. That's what I see happening. And I predicted the same thing with Derek Henry last year. I said he get 15 to 20 touchdowns, 1,900 yards, and that's exactly what he got. I'm seeing that happening with Najee, not the yardage per se. I see probably close to 1,000, maybe 5 to 10 touchdowns. Those are my predictions, and I see them both. Right now, it's going to be a split until one of them is going to take over a 60-40 type of split. I see that split running back by committee situation.
And then obviously where this could get crazy if the Chargers are really good and they're winning a lot of games, what happens if one of these backs goes down? And then all of a sudden Hampton's getting everything, or then all of a sudden Najee Harris is getting everything. And Scott pointed this out on the chat right now. Yeah, the fumble last night for Hampton, somebody lost their block. One of the offensive linemen lost their block on Max Crosby, and he was in, he almost was close enough to take the handoff from Hampton last night. So it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was all Hampton's fault. He was still charged with the fumble or whatever, but there is something to be said for that.
They charged Justin for that.
Oh, they did? Okay. Then they got Herbert for it. I didn't even realize that. Even better.
But they did change it to Herbert.
Go ahead.
He's a rookie. He's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. I mean, that's a given, but I think most of the guys like myself drafted Hampton. We got to be patient. We got to be patient. It's a long season. It's a marathon. It's 17 ball games. And then the playoff for fantasy playoffs will start the week 14, right? 12 actually in FFPC.
Right.
But we got to be patient. We got to be patient and give it a few weeks and see how it goes the next couple of weeks. I'll say if you have other options other than Hampton and starting in your lineup, take another option. But it's going to be difficult to find that really good football unless you draft a ton of wide receivers, heavy wide receivers, or you would heavy running back. It all depends on how you drafted your squad. So that's where I'm going to play it. I'm still going to play them, but if I have an opportunity to play a top-notch wide receiver or Hampton, I'm going to take that top-notch wide receiver, depending on the matchup for that week.
I'm looking at this right now, and I just want to get your feeling on in regards to Hampton, who goes up again. He gets the Broncos at home, and the Broncos defense, we know they're tough. However, Daniel Jones looked really good, and the Colts offense looked really good against them this past week. What if you had the opportunity? Because I was trying to think in my mind, like you're saying, unless you have a better option than Hampton, I'm like, well, who could be better? What about Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt or Hampton? Maybe you drafted both these guys. Krosky Merritt is at home against the Raiders. Hampton is at home against the Broncos. What if you had the opportunity to bench Hampton for JCM this week? Would you do it?
That's a tough question there, because I like both of them, but I kind of lean towards Hampton a little bit better because JCM, to me, he's a small guy. I saw him a couple of times. I said he looks kind of small to me to be a top-notch running back. And what, he had one carry last week? He had one carry.
He had four. JCM had Krosky Merritt had 4 carries. I don't think he had any targets in the passing game, but less than 20 yards rushing.
Fantasy points, what did he give it? 1.7. I mean, he just killed.
It was bad. It was bad.
So, and I had him in a couple of lineups, and I was not happy about that. So it's like, okay, now he's going to start this week, but they play the Raiders. The Raiders' defenses, they're not that bad.
Yeah,
their defense is not that bad. And they go on the road now. They just lost the game to the Chargers. So buyer beware. Just be careful if you're going to start him or not. So I like Hampton. I really do.
Yeah, and the other thing with Hampton, he has much more of a better pass-catching profile than Krosky Merritt, too, which obviously plays well into starting Hampton over Krosky Merritt. Scott Hoyt pointing, I think it was Scott, said if Jaden Daniels, who's dealing with the knee injury right now, if he ends up playing this week, that's better for Krosky Merritt. If it's Marcus Mariota back there, I don't know if that's better for JCM or not, but certainly, Hampton with the Chargers at the peak of their powers right now with everybody healthy, I think I lean that way as well.
Hampton's he's the better draft capital. What he got? Second round.
Yeah,
he's a better player. I mean, he was top notch, top ranked, top 5 coming out of this draft class.
He probably would have been the first running back drafted if it wasn't for Ashton Genty. He still would have gone in the first round.
Young Henderson, who's breaking my heart right now.
Oh, mine too. And here's what's irritating about this, Derek, is on my local fantasy football show I do here in Northeast Wisconsin, we always have to give a stud of the week, and my stud of the week was going to be Henderson because there was reporting done by trusted Patriots beat writers leading up to this week, this past week, that's saying that there was a feeling that Henderson was going to get more of the snaps than Stevenson. They're going up against one of the worst defenses in the league and the Dolphins. This should have been Henderson's coming out party. And then what happens? Stevenson gets the carries. Stevenson has 5 catches for 88 yards. I don't know the last time he had 88 yards receiving in a game. And then to add insult to insult, and I brought this up last night with Jamie Joseph, Antonio Gibson also scores a touchdown, albeit on special teams, and Henderson was nowhere to be found. To echo some of the things you've been saying about Hampton, some of the things you've been saying about these other rookie running backs, they're rookies. It's week 2, practice patience. But the coming out party for Henderson is going to be more delayed than I thought it was going to be in 2025.
I'm with you on that one because right now I'm a little bit depressed about him because I drafted him everywhere. So I'm a little bit depressed about him. But what I did do is I I handcuffed it with Stevenson, so that's going to make me happy about it.
Yeah,
I'm smiling about that. So I have Stevenson as right there on the same team, the same squad, because I was kind of in fear of that when you draft a rookie running back so high. And Stevenson's a good player. I like him. He's a very good player. And it's like, okay, you better take Stevenson in what 10th, 11th round when we were grabbing him, when we drafted him there. I'm like, I'm gonna take him. So I got him on a lot of squads right now. So I'm still happy about that. But Henderson, I was expecting him to just explode. I was expecting to explode this year, and his first 2 games has been brutal.
And he still may explode. It just might be late October or November, or maybe even late September. I mean, I don't know how this is going to go. And we got the fantasy witch doctors already hanging out in the YouTube chat. Scott Hoyt, can someone please let Ramondre lose a fumble? Steve G, Stevenson will cough it up and the door will open, and that might be all it takes. Remember, at the end of last season, Stevenson was ceding work to Antonio Gibson, which is another reason I loved Henderson so much, because the Patriots weren't even playing Stevenson as much as they probably should have been. So I don't know. It could come to run the gamut on the rookie running backs. And I know Adam Hahn was posting this in the chat earlier. Last night, Ashton Genty, also a somewhat underwhelming performance. And this is 2 of them in a row. How concerned are you about Ashton Genty right now? A guy who was, a first, second round pick in the FFPC main event this year.
I'm not concerned at all. I'm not concerned at all. The Charger defense, in my opinion, they're the top 2 defenses in the league right now. The Chargers are. They're really stout defense. They'll hit you. They cause turnovers. They are really good defense. They've proved it the last 2 weeks. I don't know if people are gonna wake up and smell the coffee here. They're a good defense. So in Genty, the way he was running that ball last night, I'm all over him. I'm all over him. He will produce. So if anybody there want to back off of him, that's on you. But I'm gonna stay with him.
I will say that in the small spaces that Genty had created by his offensive line, he did look good. Like some of the moves that he was putting on, the spin moves, the jump cuts, it was elite stuff. It's just a matter of having those holes opened up a little bit more against a better defense. And I'll tell you what, the Chargers defense opened my eyes last night. This was pretty much all game without Khalil Mack, who might be their best defensive player. If not their best, he's top 2 on that defense. And I never heard of this linebacker that they have, this Dion Henley. Holy cow, was that guy all over the place last night. He was really, really impressive. And you have Derwin James, was still one of the best safeties in the league. You have Bud Dupree coming off the bench in this game after Khalil Mack goes down. There's a lot of really talented players on that Chargers defense for sure.
And what worries me about the Raiders right now is Geno.
He was bad.
That could be a problem. If Geno doesn't play well, that's going to stymie Genty come out of that backfield, because the defenses, they're going to crowd the line of scrimmage, they're going to stack it, and they're going to force them to run the ball. And that's going to be a problem. So I'm hoping Geno, this next game against the Commanders, he plays well. If he plays well, I think Genty should have a good game, as well as Bowers as well.
The thing, I was watching the broadcast. Rarely do I listen to the commentators. I'm normally kind of in my zone, and I don't. But I was listening to Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky call this game last night, and they pointed out there was a lot of accuracy issues for Smith. Bowers did not look 100% healthy. He should have had a touchdown on that play in the, I think it was the 4th quarter, where Smith put too much air under it, which happened on a few plays last night. Plays that he should have been more accurate on, and this game could have been much, much different. But you're right. I mean, this should have been a game where Smith showed out, even against the tough defense, and it didn't happen for him. And what's wild is people are going to be counting on Geno Smith in week 3, Derek, because of the injuries to Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy, Justin Fields, all these guys that, who got hurt. And Geno Smith is trying to be picked up. And I could think of 3 leagues off the top of my head right now that my only 2 quarterbacks are Purdy and Justin Fields. So I know I'm going to have to be working hard to pick up quarterbacks in those. And Smith might be one of them. So and he didn't give me the warm fuzzies last night.
I hope Danny Dimes is there for you.
He won't be. I'm sure I'll look it up. I'll do my due diligence, but I'm sure he's been picked up. And that's another guy. I mean, I'm a believer, man. You do what he did in week 1 against the Titans or whoever they played. just this wretched team. But you do it against Denver. It's the line, Leo DiCaprio line from Django Unchained, right? Like, gentlemen, you had my curiosity. That was after the Titans game. And then he does this against the Broncos. And I'm like, but now you have my attention. That is Daniel Jones right now.
I'm watching entirety on Sunday. Was that game?
Yeah, it was.
We did, and I wanted to see Tyler Warren go off, and everything just clicked. I'm like, wow, okay, so now we have another quarterback we can throw in our lineups.
and not only that, Derek, think about this too. With Daniel Jones, I'm gonna bring it up right now. His upcoming schedule. Oh, it was the Dolphins week 1. I'm sorry, not the Titans. The Titans are this week. So he gets another good matchup this week. Then he goes to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. That's not that great. Then he gets Vegas. He gets Arizona. Then obviously the Chargers is going to be tough. But then Tennessee and then Pittsburgh, who does not look like the same Steelers defense we're accustomed to.
Not the same defense.
Not the same defense. And that's over the first 9 weeks. You could be looking, and the buys are going to start in. We could see Daniel Jones in a lot of FFPC.
I'm interested to see his waiver wire bids tomorrow night. That's what I'm interested to see. Yeah,
exactly. I'm very interested to see that.
How he's going to go.
Adam Hahn said maybe it's Shane Steichen, but Danny Dimes looks different. I will say this is probably the best lineup of pass catchers and offensive linemen he's had in his career, as a starter at least.
He's got a great running back, just like he had when he had Barkley back there. So it could be all. I say right now they should be able to win that division. That's my prediction. They're going to beat Houston. The Texans, I don't know. I don't know about the Texans right now.
Here's the thing about the Texans that I saw last night. I saw an offensive line that was ill-equipped to open up holes for the ground game consistently, protect their quarterback consistently, and I think their quarterback was affected by that because Stroud did not look all that great last night either. So the Texans, I think they're in a bad way. That it's the Colts division. I mean, we'll see if Jacksonville can sort of put it together. But I think that but what the Colts have shown me so far, they are the class of that division. They're the team to beat. Again, it's only 2 weeks into the season, but it's been opening my eyes.
The defense playing well. They look really good.
You know who looked really good in week 2, Derek, as well? Cooper Kupp. He came off a 2-catch for 15-yard performance against the Niners in week 1. Against Pittsburgh, and we're just talking about how awful that defense has looked. 7 catches for 90 yards. In your mind, which performance is closer to reality for Kupp? Was it week 1, the dud, or this breakout week 2 game?
I see anywhere in between. Maybe as long as he's continuing to get the targets, and Sam Darnold, it's his first year playing with Sam Darnold, as well as JCN, Jackson and Jigba, and all the rest of their offensive weapons, and Walker, the running back there. So I see anywhere between probably 5 to 10 targets per game. It depends game scripted, how far, if they get behind in the game, and if it's a shootout, then I can see a lot more. But Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp. He's going to get open, and you give him the ball, he's going to catch it. Yeah. He's going to catch it. He's a good run after catch guy. So I still have some shares of Cooper Kupp on quite a few teams, and I haven't played him yet. Until I said, whoa, now maybe he got my eye this week. I'm saying, okay, now maybe I can consider putting him in my lineup. And I may just do that, and we'll see. They play the Saints this week. This is the dream matchup.
If you're going to play Kupp, it's got to be this week.
Every place I have Cooper Kupp this week, he's going to my lineup. He's going to be one of my wide receivers in that lineup. So I think this is perfect matchup for him.
The only way I would say maybe Kupp is not a start, 2 ways. One, maybe you drafted a lot of receivers high, and you have better players in front of them because there's nobody on bye this week. We don't have any significant injuries at the running back, receiver, or tight end position, so there's that. And then the total on this game is only 41.5, and the Seahawks are 7.5-point favorites. So if they do get out to that early lead, maybe they just pound Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, and we don't see a whole lot of – because the thing is, the volume in that passing game continues to go to Smith and Jigba. Yep. And I don't know if – I could tell myself a story easily where Smith and Jigba gets 7 or 8 catches again this game. The Seahawks win by 14, and Cooper Kupp has like 3 for 20 or something like that, right? Because they just didn't need him.
They did,
but I could see him. I could also see him having a big game too against the Saints defense.
And you could see a closer ball game. The Saints haven't been blown out yet. Actually, I don't think they've been blown out the first 2 games. So they could be actually in this game into the third quarter, and they're starting to fade a little bit. But they could put up a fight. Saints could put up a fight with Alvin Kamara and that group of Chris Olave. They could put up a fight.
Yeah, Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Johnson, we already talked about too. I mean, the offense seems a little bit underrated, and I think it's probably because of Spencer Rattler at quarterback. Right. But they lost to the Cardinals by 1 score. They lost to the Niners by less than 1 score. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, they're in these games.
They're in the game. So, like I'm saying, and Kellen Moore's the coach, and he's going to throw the short passes, and he'll get Chris Olave going and Rashid and those guys. And Alvin Kamara, you never know about him. He can explode, blow up, and I hope he does blow up because I got him on several teams.
Me too.
Yeah, I hope he blows up, and who knows? We can have a good ball game here.
That is going to be one that we're looking forward to for sure. I want to bring this up, and I know we've been talking a lot of Houston Texans here, but we did not talk about the receivers a whole lot. Last night, if you look at the box score in this Buccaneers-Texans game, the leading receiver for Houston was Nico Collins with 3 catches.
Ugly.
The receivers behind him, Jalen Noel, not even a target. Justin Watson, a catch. Jaden Higgins, 1 catch. Yep. Xavier Hutchinson, 2 catches. That was it for the receivers. Mm-hmm. If Christian Kirk does come back this week, and we're Sigmund Boone from Football Guys, the mayor of Narrative Street, this would be against his old team. Christian Kirk's first game as a non-Jaguar would be against the Jaguars. If he is healthy, a player or healthy enough to play, a player that was going sort of in the mid rounds, is he okay enough to flex out right away in his first game back, even after what we saw from Houston's offense last night, Derek?
No doubt. Fire him up. I'm firing him up. I got him probably a half a dozen of my teams right now. He's going to my lineup. And yes, fire him up because CJ just need more weapons. And he needs a guy across. He needs a guy in the slot. It's like when he had Tank Dell in the slot. He needs that where he can just take 2 steps back and then drill the ball over the middle there. That's what he needs. And he's going to get that from Christian Kirk. He's more of a slot guy. He catches the passes over the middle. He gets you your dig routes. He'll get you a deep route every now and then, but he needs him real bad. And I heard they had a good connection in doing the summer training. They had off-season training together, and they have a good he and the quarterback, Kirk and CJ have a good rapport. And I believe this combination is going to work. I wouldn't be surprised if he got me seven receptions in this ball game.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I would not be surprised because CJ, he gonna make CJ look good.
If he gets 7 catches his first game, man, that is going to be awesome.
That's why I'm throwing him in my lineup. Because Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence is
well, and the Jaguars' offense has actually looked pretty good these first 2 weeks. When you consider that they put up 26 in week 1, they put up 27 in week 2. Now, granted, that was against the Panthers and Bengals defenses, which aren't exactly the steel curtain. But at the same time, they are putting up these numbers, and maybe we get into a shootout. In fact, I'm going to look at the point spread on that game right now.
He's not getting it. That's the problem. Brian Thomas is not getting that ball. He's short. He's short throwing. He's underthrowing. He's overthrowing. It's really bad.
And that total on that was 44.5, the Texans-Jaguars game. So we could see some points in that game. I will say this about Brian Thomas. Liam Cohen was asked about him after the game about, the drop in the end zone, the other drop towards the goal line where it looked like he might have scored. There was another alligator arm type play. And Ben Gretsch from Stealing Signals sort of poured cold water on all that. I'm not concerned about Thomas. Cohen, and this is what was bizarre to me, Cohen said that Thomas was dealing with a wrist injury this game, but he wasn't listed on any of the injury reports all week from Jacksonville. So I don't know if this happened on Sunday morning or something, this wrist injury.
No one knows.
It's weird. It's weird. I still keep the faith on Thomas. He's getting the ball thrown to him, but they're targets. They're not turning into catches yet. And we need catches in fantasy.
We need receptions. And Travis Etienne, he seemed like he's having an all-world season so far in his 2 games here. And
I will say this, too. Ray C. wanting to know on the YouTube chat right now, The targets are there. BTJ not looking good. Adam Hahn is actually saying you sit Brian Thomas this week, because Derek Stingley is going to be covering him. Now, for me, and I always say this, Derek, I am a weak man. Adam Hahn is a much stronger man than me. If I have Brian Thomas, I'm playing him, even against that matchup, even looking as bad as he is right now. I still got to put Brian Thomas out there. However, I get it. If you're worried about the matchup, and it's not like Thomas has looked like Jerry Rice this season so far. So if you want to do it, go ahead. But he's getting the targets. I just think it's a matter of time before he breaks through.
I hope so. But he did well with Mac Jones last season. And so
yes,
that's
he did.
Mac
Jones. And this is the other thing, too. I think what I'm going to do in some of these leagues where Mac Jones is available, where I have Purdy, I might just pick up Mac Jones. And then I'll be guaranteed to start the Niners quarter because he looked great. And I don't know if this is Kyle Shanahan sprinkling his magic Shanny dust on these quarterbacks, but Mac Jones was awesome. It's probably his best game as a pro.
He's a decent quarterback, and he will be picked up this week. I mean, tomorrow night when waivers, people are going to pick him up. Players will pick him up. Yeah. And who knows? I may be just one of them to pick him up.
And they get the Cardinals defense, which I mean the Cardinals are 2-0 right now, but I don't think the defense is like all that intimidating. So and this game is in Santa Clara too, so he could cut up the Cardinals again this week.
He could, especially my man CMC back there.
Yes, yeah, and that's a huge boon as well to have a guy like McCaffrey behind you. It makes everything easier.
Oh yeah.
Let's go to Caleb Johnson. Adam Hahn in the YouTube chat posted this earlier that Caleb Johnson, after that kickoff debacle, has a negative 99 rating for awareness in Madden right now, which is hilarious. Probably not true, but hilarious. He had one carry in 2 weeks. It happened to be yesterday or on Sunday, I beg your pardon. But that's been it. How cuttable in these high stakes leagues? Again, Caleb Johnson was like what, 7th, 8th round pick, somewhere around there. How cuttable is he right now, Derek?
It's kind of hard to draft that draft capital. You want to drop them right now. I play it safe. I'll just stash them. If I got other better running backs, that's of course I do. When they're playing, I'm just got him stashed right now. But there's a chance of injury. There's always that slim chance that Jaylen Warren or Gainwell, one of those guys, get injured.
Right.
And Johnson, he's not a small guy. He's 6'1", he's 220 something. He's a good runner. And he's a kid. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
So I say stash him and then just bite your tongue right now. I know you drafted him in the 7th round, 8th round, maybe in your regular drafts, but I'm just going to hold on. Yeah, I'm going to hold on. I mean, Dynasty, of course, you're going to keep him, right? Dynasty, you're going to hold him, you're going to keep him, right? But in our high stakes environment, it's rough. And everybody wants to win. And if there's a better running back out there on the waiver wire, I'm sure you go you bid for him, right? And you don't get it that way. But if there's no one else better, which in our environment there isn't,
right? That's the thing. If somebody cuts him, somebody's going to be paying hundreds of dollars for him to pick him up the following week.
Free agent pool for running backs right now is depleted. You're not going to grab yourself an RB2, like RB3 for that case in main events. It's not going to happen.
Nobody's dropping Caleb Johnson to pick up Jeremy McNichols. Nobody's dropping Caleb Johnson to pick up Chris Rodriguez. The other thing we have to keep in mind here, too, and this is sort of the recurring theme of this episode, he is a rookie. And regardless of what he did, unless it was like some off-field stuff, you can't give up on a rookie that had the NFL draft capital and the FFPC draft capital that Caleb Johnson had.
Exactly.
You have to keep him on your roster, in my opinion. I was talking to a Steelers fan today that I think was totally biased about this. He's so sick about Caleb Johnson. He's like, no, you just cut him. You just get rid of him. I'm done. I'm like, all right, dude, I'm not going to do that. But this is the type of guy who is not playing behind Bijan Robinson. He's not playing behind Saquon Barkley. He's playing behind Jaylen Warren. So the bar to jump over there later in the season is not as high as it would be in San Francisco. It's not as high as it would be in Philadelphia or Atlanta or Baltimore. So you could easily, like we talk about Caleb Johnson being cuttable right now. Caleb Johnson in like week 12 or week 13 might be the type of guy that's putting up top 15 stats at the running back position. Not saying that's likely, but he could be.
That's if Pittsburgh is not playoff bound. They're not bound. They're going to use them. They're going to see what they have.
Yeah, Adam's chiming in right now, and he's like, Caleb Johnson playing behind Gainwell says it all, but he's still holding him. You got to hold him.
Why? You drafted him in the 7th, 8th round. Yeah. I'm going to hold him.
Yep.
You know, you never know. This is football, and running backs get hurt all the time.
I think I know how you're going to answer this next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. We don't know Jaden Daniels' status right now. We do know that he's got a knee injury. I think he is probably on the probable side of questionable right now, but that might be wishful thinking on my part. The Commanders get the Raiders this week. It is a 1:00 game, so we will know Sunday morning whether Daniels is active or not.
Yep.
If it is Marcus Mariota throwing to the Commanders on Sunday, are you still putting Deebo Samuel in your starting lineups?
Yes, sir. No doubt. 100%. Deebo's in every last one of my lineups. He's not coming out unless he's injured. He will be in my lineups. And the thing is that he's going to be more of a running back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's face it. I mean, Mariota. He's basically a running quarterback. He's not really a good passing quarterback. He's a running quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a lot of plays where they both running the ball and he pitching it out to Deebo. Deebo running that play where he runs behind him and he hands it off to him. I can see Deebo doing a lot of those type of plays. Yeah, you got to play Deebo. He's averaging what right now 18 points per game in the last 2 ball games. You can't put him on your bench no matter what. At least I'm not.
I also think it'd be kind of fun. And Cliff Kingsbury's a smart offensive coordinator. I think it'd be kind of fun to see what plays he would draw up with Marcus Mariota at quarterback and then Deebo Samuel and Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt in the same backfield, right? I think back to what Matt LaFleur did for the Packers when Jordan Love was out last year, and you had Malik Willis back there with Josh Jacobs there, and Jaden Reed running the jet sweeps. There was a lot of fun stuff that they were able to do. And I have the Commanders, even if Daniels misses, put those 3 guys in the backfield at the same time. That will give some defense, and that will give the Raiders defense some problems.
Raiders they're going to look for all that. They're going to have to be ready for those type of plays back there because Deebo, he's going to be more part of the offense, even with Jake. That's my thinking. And I think it will. He's going to bail this team out this week. But Terry McLaurin, he's the one he's got to step up. He hasn't played well the last 2 ball games, even with Jaden Daniels. If he can step up, McLaurin's got to do it. He's got to do it one way or another. They got to feed him the ball. They got to feed it to him.
It's weird to think about, but it's true that these guys had such a connection last year, and even though McLaurin is back now, it just not having that preseason, not having that training camp. It just seems like the timing is not there yet between these 2 guys, and they got to reestablish that.
It's only a couple of weeks from now, if James comes back, because he's going to probably miss, I'm thinking probably 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
That's my thinking. I mean, it's a sprained knee. If he rests this week, you can figure they're going to give him another week, especially if they beat the Raiders. All right.
I got to look at their schedule, who they have coming up after the Raiders game.
If they beat the Raiders, they'll be 2-1.
Mm-hmm. And then they go to Atlanta in week 4.
Yeah, that's a tough game to go to Atlanta. So it's going to be interesting what happens this Sunday.
We saw that pass rush from Atlanta. That looked for real on Sunday night against Minnesota.
The Commanders can be 1-2 going to Atlanta. They don't want to be in that position. So this is a key game, especially if Jaden Daniels misses any time here.
Continuing the wide receiver conversation here, Derek, Quentin Johnston has seen 14 targets in the first 2 games of the season. He's turned 14 targets into 3 touchdowns, including a 61-yarder last night against Las Vegas. Do we believe that this is real? And if so, why do we believe that Quentin Johnston is for real in 2025?
Mr. Quentin Johnston, he's still a young player. We got to keep that in mind. He's a young player. He came into the league in 2023. Read just some numbers real quick. He in 17 games, his average fantasy points was 5 points per game. In 2024, he doubled that to 11.6 fantasy points per game. 2025, in 2 games, he's up to 20.4 fantasy points per game. that trajectory, that graph is trending upwards. He's every year he's going up.
Every year he's doubled his production.
He's going up. That's why you need him in your lineups. And this is for real. This is a good wide receiver. He's a big guy. I'm all in on him. Stay with him.
It was funny. I like when I was trying to pick him up prior to
Adam Hahn. I like this. I like that.
Yeah, and Adam Hahn is the president of the Keyshawn Booty fan club for sure.
I'm with him on that.
And part of the reason, like his evangelism with Booty, like I ended up picking him up in a few leagues last week. I probably bid more than I normally would have, but I got him in a couple of spots. He didn't get the targets this past week, but he did get a touchdown.
Sure.
And the thing with Quentin Johnston too is, and I brought this up before, we knew. I mean, one of the things that we knew about Johnston was that he was raw coming into the NFL. We knew he was going to need seasoning. And the fact that people double counted that against him, and quite frankly, I might have included myself in that, in 2023, like all the stuff we said about him, like we knew it was going to happen that season, and yet we still penalized him for it in drafts in 2024. He's been coming on. He's making plays in 2025, and that's with Keenan Allen and Land McConkey out there with him. He's still making plays.
He had the dropsies. He was dropping passes. In training camp that summer, he had the dropsies, and that's kind of held him back a little bit. They want to say, catch the ball. So he finally got a hold of that just last year, when the Harbaugh come in there. So now he's catching the ball when it's thrown to him. And the boy is a beast. That's all I can say. He's a beast. And right now he's killing it. And people are just, the bids last week for him was in the crazy numbers.
Yeah.
There's 75% of their waiver budget, FAP budget was gone, and I agree with them. Do it. You got to have this kid. Yeah, he's a league winner. He's a league winner.
He very well could be this year too. And the other thing to keep in mind is Keenan Allen is, over the course of his career, I would never say has been the pinnacle of health. And this is the oldest Keenan Allen's ever been. And if Allen were to miss any time, with the Chargers really not having a significant answer at the tight end position for pass catching right now, man, you think about McConkey and Johnston, that could be crazy this year. Johnston gets the Broncos this week, which I still think he's flex worthy because of what Daniel Jones did to the Broncos last week for sure.
You have to play. Denver defense, I'm going to say this, and everybody can hear, I think they're a little bit overrated.
They might be.
From what I see with the coach, what they did to him last week, and I watched that ball game, they went up and down the field on him. I'm like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be the number one defense?
Right, yeah.
I didn't see that. I'm sorry, I just did not see it. Jonathan Taylor was just running left, running right, picking up 15 yards here, 30 yards there. Daniel Jones had all the time in the world. He was vulturing touchdowns, daddy dimes, and get to the 1 yard line. He'll quarterback sneaking in, push it in. I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, come on, Denver. People were drafting Denver defense in the 14th round. Come on, guys.
I never like to do that anyway. I don't care how good the defense is. And I would say, like, I'm not good enough. Like, I need to be drafting running backs and receivers still at that point, or a quarterback. Like, I can't draft the defense. Now I think they're in the overrated conversation. But as Adam was pointing out earlier, like, it's been 2 weeks. One of them was good. One of them was bad. I'll still give them the benefit of the doubt, but this was not their finest moment yesterday, 100%.
Not at all.
I'll tell you who might have had his finest moment.
They don't turn around against my Chargers, so turn around this week. I don't want to see good defense this week.
The guy who had probably a breakout game and who did look awesome on Sunday, Roma Dunze. This is a player that we were very excited about, or I shouldn't say we. A lot of people were excited about coming into the season because he never really left the field last year. He was out there running more routes than more routes than Kmet, more routes than anybody, more routes than Keenan Allen last year in Chicago. And then we see this big-time breakout game, well over 100 yards, 9 catches, 2 touchdowns. How strong is this stranglehold does he have for the Bears' number 1 wide receiver right now? I know some offenses, it can switch week to week. Yep. I don't know if that's going to happen in Chicago, man. I don't know. I love him, but leaning the back of my head and my heart is DJ Moore still there. Mm-hmm. DJ Moore still there, and they got him, lined him in the backfield, run him as a running back.
We'll know more this weekend. This weekend, I think they play the Cowboys, right?
Yep, exactly.
We will know more this weekend. If Caleb can light him up the way Russ lit the defense up, lit the Cowboys up, we will know a lot more information be coming in this weekend. Because I think Dallas, they saw the film. Mm-hmm. Saw the film on Roma, what he did last weekend and what he did week 1. So they may give their defense. And if they put Diggs on him, like the Diggs he covered Malik Neighbors last week, and Neighbors ate him up.
Right.
Neighbors ate Diggs alive. So if they take Diggs and put him on Rome, it could be a Rome night. It could be a Rome day. Rome can get 2 touchdowns, another 170 yards, which I hope he does. But I mean, if they play that zone defense back there, want to keep the ball in front of them. And Dallas did that in the first game against the Eagles. Remember, they down A.J. Brown. We wonder what happened to A.J. Brown in that week 1 ball game. He had no targets. Remember, I told you we were at the main event there in Vegas. And I said, what happened to A.J. Brown? Oh, and I found out later on Dallas played zone that whole ball game. Mm-hmm. So they kept the receivers in front of them. They wanted to get behind them. And if they do that this week, I don't know. We're going to be scratching our heads again.
It's true. We very well could be.
It could be more game. But I do like Rome. I think Rome's going to be outstanding. He's having a great year so far, and I hope he continues.
Scott Hoyt also chiming in too, as long as we're talking about Bears pass catchers. Where the hell is Colston Loveland? And I'm going to apply my answer to this in the same way I've been talking about a lot of the running backs here. Not only is Loveland a rookie, but he's a rookie tight end. And I know there have been certain rookie tight ends over the last few years that have shown us that just because you're a rookie tight end doesn't mean you have to take a mulligan year 1. Like, you can actually perform, be productive, and be a fantasy asset week 1. To me, that doesn't make it true of every tight end. Mm-hmm. And Loveland was a guy who was coming off shoulder surgery. I believe it was shoulder surgery after his final collegiate season and missed a ton of training camp. And he's stepping into a situation with, as you mentioned, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. Burden has kind of been a non-factor, but they've had Olamide Zacchaeus, Cole Kmet. There's a lot of pass catchers there. So in the same way that I'm not ready to ready to cut Caleb Johnson, I'm not starting Loveland in any of my leagues, but I'm not cutting him either.
No, I wouldn't cut him either. I mean, remember, this is week 2, guys. We got to be patient. Be a little patient here. They practice every day during the week. They get that day off before the game time. But I think Loveland, maybe week 7, week 8, as the season moves along here, and if their Cole Kmet, if he gets injured, then or one of the receivers get hurt, and here we go with Loveland. But again, Caleb's a quarterback. Caleb Williams, he's got to learn to distribute, be a point guard. Distribute the ball. You got all these weapons. Get him the football, okay? And him running around back in the backfield, being chased around, throwing the ball like he's in college still, that's just not going to work. And that's one of the problems that the Bears are having right now. They're trying to get him comfortable and get Caleb stabilized and back it up and stop running the ball so much and try to get him straight. That's what they're still working on. But I think, remember, this is his first year with this coach. This is his first year with this offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. You got to give him time. And maybe week 6, week 8, as the season moves along here, they're going to get better. I have no doubt about that. They're going to get better. But again, they got to establish the run with Swift. Swift is a good running back, and that rookie they got, Mama guy, you got to establish the run. You got to establish something first, and they haven't done that yet in the first 2 ball games.
The Bears have an early bye. Week 5 is when they're off. So they have the Cowboys this week, and then they go to Las Vegas for the Raiders. Week 6, they're at the Commanders. Maybe Loveland is ready to take on a bigger pass-catching role then. I don't know. We'll see on that.
He's got to get on the field.
He's got to get on the field. He does, yeah.
We got him seen there.
Derek, one final question here for you tonight. And I know there's a lot of FFPC players watching right now, and I know you may not want to be 100% truthful with them because they might be in your leagues and you might be bidding against these guys for players. And we've already talked about a few players that you're looking at.
You got to know that Steve and his group.
That's true. Yeah, the Fantasy Sopranos are already lurking in here to try to find out what Derek Grier is going to be doing on the waiver wire. Is there one player that you're targeting, or maybe a couple of players that you're targeting on the waiver wire this week? And then conversely, a player that you are ready to give up on, unlike Loveland, unlike Johnson, a guy that you are ready to cut right now?
I'm not at this point right now. I'm not ready to cut anybody because it's only week 2 on this on my squad right now. Now unless I can replace him like I did last week with the with Justin. Quentin, I didn't have him a couple of teams, but I bid it half my budget to get him back on my team. I did draft him everywhere, but I had to do that. At this point, I'm not ready to cut anybody. I like my squads, and I do like this one guy here. I hate to mention his name though, because I know Steve's listening. It's going to be Renfro, that wide receiver with
yeah.
Yep. They know it. These guys is listening. Right. They know who to go grab right now. It's just a matter of how much waiver you really ready to spend to get that player. So Renfro is my guy right now, and also the quarterbacks. So what's going on here? Of course, there's going to be Browning since Joe Burrow is injured. So Browning's going to be a top guy tomorrow night, but they're going to bid for him, man. I'm going to be one of them. I'm going to let you know, guys. I'm going to be one of them going to bid for Browning. I want to keep him out of your rosters and put him on my roster.
Yeah. The Burrow people are going to go crazy bidding for Browning.
Thing, man. I'm sorry. It's a dog-eat world. I'm trying to win this thing, man. So Browning's there. He's available. Now I'm looking. He's available in quite a few leagues. So it's going to be crazy tomorrow night, but I'm going to be one of those bidders. And if I lose them, so be it. But I'm going to do my best to get them.
Steve G is saying that he has no interest in Hunter Renfro. I will just say this.
He's saying that. He's saying that. So
he might be saying that, yeah. I'll say this for Renfro. I've placed some bids already in some of my leagues, and Renfro is in there. I think that he may or may not serve a purpose for me until Jalen Coker gets back. But once Coker gets back, I don't know, man. I think the Renfro thing could be short-lived. But right now, I mean, he caught 2 touchdowns, got the targets. I know they're trying to do a crazy comeback yesterday or on Sunday, I beg your pardon, against Arizona. But listen, it's not a great waiver wire week for a lot of big names out there. So Renfro to me is worth a few bucks for sure. Derek,
he's worth a few.
He's worth a few.
You never know.
Derek, this was so much fun, man. I always enjoy our conversations. We will continue to connect with you on X at you got it right there, DE Grier 66 on the X. One of my favorite interviews, one of my favorite guys to hang out with in Las Vegas, obviously. So much fun to catch up with you. Good luck trying to bring home a pair of $1 million grand prizes in the FFPC this year. Don't be a stranger, and hopefully we'll do this again soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got it. Thanks, Derek.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Be good, man. We'll see you. That's Derek Grier, ladies and gentlemen. 6-time FFPC, I beg your pardon, 9-time FFPC league champ. Started week 2 in 9th place overall in the FFPC Big Gorilla. Once again, DE Grier 66 on the X is where you can connect with him. That will complete this evening's show. Thank you so much to everybody for hanging out and making it a great one. Remember, the FFPC Weekly Challenge is live, myffpc.com. You can play in 10, 30, or 100-team leagues. It is basically the same format as our world-famous playoff challenge. You just pick 10 players or 12 players, whichever format you want to play in, if you want to play with kickers and defenses or not. And then you just watch them ride throughout the weekend. Only 1 player per team. If you want Roma Dunze, you can't have Caleb Williams. If you want Caleb Johnson for some reason, you cannot have Aaron Rodgers. So that's the slant on it. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. Win up to $2,500 each and every week. myffpc.com. Next week, we will be live again at 10 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday for the RotoViz High Stakes Lowdown coming up later this week. By the way, in case you missed yesterday's High Stakes Lowdown, we didn't do one last week. So Jamie Joseph came on. You can get that on the RotoViz podcast channel or anywhere you get podcasts, including the FFPC YouTube channel. Watch that back. Thursday night, FFPC Insider Access goes live, the best pregame show in the business ahead of Buffalo and Miami. And from Optimus Fantasy, Nate Polvolt makes his return to FFPC Insider Access. We'll have 2 full hours of FFPC league coverage for you that night. And we'll even watch the first quarter with you of the Bills and Dolphins. And then Friday night, Farrell Elliott rejoins me for the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour. That will go live at 10 p.m. Eastern time as well. So we're in it. We're in the thick of it, baby. 3 FFPC shows a week. You got to love it. It's going to be a great season. Good luck to everybody in week 3. Good luck on the waiver wire tomorrow. And we will have the RotoViz High Stakes Lowdown back with you again next Tuesday. Talk to you.
Thank you for listening to the High Stakes Lowdown, a RotoViz podcast brought to you by the Fantasy Football Players Championship. And thanks to Grapes for our theme music. Please review the podcast on Apple Podcasts under the RotoViz radio feed. It helps us find new listeners. Contact us via email at rotovizradio@gmail.com. We'd love to hear what you think and connect with us on X at RotoVizRadio. Remember, you can always support the show by subscribing to RotoViz at a 10% discount using the code RVRadio2025. That's RVRADIO2025 through the NFL Podcast homepage at rotoviz.com/podcast.